Okay, hi everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Bryson Keltner. I'm the International Admissions Counselor here at Western Kentucky University, and this is an episode of Live from the Hill. So before we get started, I'll tell you a little bit about Live from the Hill. This is a weekly webinar that we're doing for international students, and each week I take you live on campus and talk about some sort of element here at WKU. And I show you a portion of campus that kind of relates to that element. And I do want to say that these are live, so if I fall down, you'll get to see it because it's live. But also, I do apologize if the Wi-Fi gets spotty for a moment. If I break up for just a moment, you can feel free to message in the chat if say, "Hey, you're frozen," or "I can't hear you." That's totally fine. Also, it is a bit windy today here in Bowling Green, Kentucky, so I apologize if the audio is a bit flustered. But we're going to go on and get started. I am so excited for this particular episode because today we're talking about campus events. So I'm going to show you a little bit of our sports facilities here at WKU, as well as the middle of campus where we have a lot of our events. But I'm also really excited because we have a very special guest joining us. We have Alessia. So Alessia, do you want to pop on and say hi?
Hi, everybody. So like Bryson just said, my name's Alessia Lamb. I am from Ontario, Canada, and I'm an international student diplomat at WKU for the second year, and I'm on the WKU all-girl cheerleading team, and this will be my third year as a cheerleader at WKU. So all of the places Bryson's going to be showing you, they may look empty now, but with all of the students in them and all of the WKU cheer in a sea of red, it is amazing, and it's a feeling like no other to be at a game day at WKU.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alessia. So we're going to go on and get started today. Again, like Alessia was saying, is a little empty right now because we're currently not in session. And thanks to restrictions from COVID, we are very light on campus. We're currently virtual. So normally when you would be, on this campus, there would be people all over the place. There'd be lots of students. It's easy to say hi and meet people. But I'm going to turn you all around here so you can see. So we're in a very special place here at WKU. So this is Hazzard Stadium, the football arena. I do want to say that football is huge here at WKU. We are Division I sports, and football for the U.S., it's a big part of the U.S. culture in a lot of different areas, but that's definitely the case here at WKU. So people come to football games who honestly, some of them don't even like sports, but it's kind of just a hangout opportunity. It's a big social gathering. So I would definitely want to just show you the football arena here. So I want to go over to this side. This side of the arena, this kind of green area behind the goalpost here, that's called the berm. And that's where our student section is. So I do want to say that all of our sporting events at WKU are 100% free to students, but this area right here is completely reserved for current students. So they come and they hang out, they cheer for the Hilltoppers during the games. So usually that is packed with students in that area. You can see the scoreboard there as well. The wind is really starting to pick up. I hope you can still hear me. But I'm going to go on and continue. And Alessia, feel free to jump in at any time, anything you want to share as well.
Yeah, I really suggest going to a football game at least once at WKU. It's, like Bryson said, it's a huge part of the American culture, and it's like no other. At kickoff, there's fireworks and the smoke that when our football players come out. We have our WKU band that plays the national anthem and does the whole marching band stuff and fills up the entire field. And I had never been to a big football game before I came to WKU, and it just kind of blew my mind of all of the production that goes into the football game. So it's not just football. So if you're not a sports person, that's okay. It's not all about football. There's a bunch of other different things you can see. There's the dancers. We have a co-ed cheerleading team, so boys and girls, and an all-girl cheerleading team, so all girls. The band plays music all throughout the game. Like, it's just a really great experience. That's not all about football if you're not a big football fan.
Absolutely. So I did want to show you this little area right here. This is a statue, and it might seem kind of odd because this is a statue of a towel. Um, so for those of you who don't know, the red towel is a huge symbol of WKU. So I've got my towel here with me. It's always a tradition to bring your red towel to the games to wave them when there's a touchdown or when points are scored. But the red towel is a tradition here at WKU. It started with our first basketball coach. So basically, he would come into the arena for his games, and he would always have a red towel, and he was very animated. So he would sling it around, he would throw it, he would bite on it, he was just kind of wild. And at the end of every game, he would toss the red towel to a fan. And that kind of started a tradition here. So we always have a red towel at the games. It's a tradition where if you travel anywhere else in the world, you bring a red towel with you and take a picture with it, just to kind of symbolize how much or how far WKU Hilltoppers have gone. So you're going to accumulate a lot of towels here at WKU during your time, and definitely bring one of those to the games. So I'm going to go on and walk out here of the stadium, and we'll continue on through the main part of campus. It's going to take me just a moment, Alessia. So Alessia, do you want to go on and share maybe why you picked WKU, or maybe some of your favorite things about WKU in general?
Yeah, so I guess I'll start with why I chose WKU. So, like I said, I'm from Canada, and I've been a cheerleader for most of my life. I was a gymnast, so cheerleading was the main reason why I chose WKU. But being a cheerleader, there's not so many scholarships that you can get. So WKU gave me the financial support. And within the international office and the international community, there's so many different scholarships to apply for that they gave me the financial support that my family could help support me and send me to school in Kentucky. And from that day, I am so very thankful that I chose WKU, because WKU's been a home away from home for me. I feel like that's one of the scariest things, moving away. And WKU has just been so welcoming. Everyone on campus is so amazing and so nice, and is always there for you if you need somebody. So that's just kind of, I think that would be my favorite thing, is the family aspect and how welcoming and nice everyone is. I met my best friends, and yeah, WKU has just been a home to me for the past 3 years, and I will now call it home forever.
Love that. I love hearing kind of everyone's individual story, just kind of what led them here. But again, continuing on with the tour. So this is the South Lawn. I'll turn around here. You can see still very close to the stadium, which is right over there. But you can see this is a very, very large green area. And here I want to talk about tailgating. So tailgating is an American tradition with football games. Basically, it happens before a football game starts. And people come out, they bring tents, they bring couches, they bring chairs, they bring games and all kinds of food and grills. And they basically come to this area as well as some other areas of campus and just hang out and have fun before the game begins. Again, it's just a big social element. There's a lot of high energy, lots going on. And that's just as much as part of the football tradition here at WKU as the actual game itself. So, during a game day, this entire area is packed with people. It's a really good time. I think Alessia would agree. But this is pretty close to the center of campus. Over here, this building that you're seeing now is the Preston Center, which is our athletic facility for our students. Again, it's completely free to our students. So you can go in there and work out. There's all kinds of different workout equipment, a pool, several different basketball courts, volleyball courts. There are classes for things like aerobics class and Zumba. So lots of ways to get active, and again, completely free to our students. But also in this area, just on a regular day, not a game day, when class is in session, you can see people here hanging out. They may be playing soccer, they may be throwing frisbee, they're studying. So this is a good area to do that. And then also there are individual events in this area as well too. So we've had concerts here. There is kind of a local band that's gotten pretty popular. They're called Cage the Elephant. You might have heard of them. But they're from Bowling Green, so they did a campus concert here before a football game a couple years ago. So there are other events that happen in this area as well. it's not super muffled. So this building I'm coming up on right here is the Downing Student Union. And I'm going to take you in this building in a later webinar, so be on the lookout for that. But the Student Union is kind of the central nervous system of campus here. So it is pretty much in the center. And in the Student Union, there are a lot of places to eat. So we do have restaurants kind of scattered throughout campus, but the majority of them here are in DSU. So we have a burrito place, we have our main cafeteria where it's all you can eat. We have Papa John's pizza, Chick-fil-A chicken, Steak and Shake. There's like a sports bar area as well as a Starbucks coffee. But in this area, you'll also find a lot of events happening as well. So during the main part of the semester, there will be fundraisers happening inside. There's a lot of meeting rooms, so a lot of your campus organizations will meet there, as well as different guest speakers will come in there. There's an auditorium inside as well. So there's a lot happening in the Downing Student Union in this building here. I also want you to encourage y'all, if you have any questions, feel free to put those in the chat box. Alessia and I will be happy to answer those at some point, maybe towards the end. And like I said, we've done several of these webinars over the past few weeks. Each of them have varying topics. So a lot of them are based on the academic side of WKU, which is obviously very important because you're coming to get an education. So we've done one over, the science and engineering and math majors. We've done one over the arts majors. We've done one over business. Next week, I believe, is health and human services. So we'll talk about different majors like nursing and public health. So if you're looking to see more of that side of WKU, definitely check out some of our previous webinars. The recordings of those are on our website. So as you can see with our campus here, it is a very green campus. There are trees and flowers everywhere. Our campus facilities and our lawn and garden department do a phenomenal job keeping it very, very beautiful here. So you can see it is gorgeous. We're actually known as one of the most beautiful campuses in all of the southern United States. So, but this is kind of the geographical center of campus. This is Centennial Mall. It was built here during our 100th anniversary of WKU. And I wanted to show you this because there's also several events that happened around this area as well. So we kind of made a little circle. That's the Downing Student Union I was talking about. But here in the center of campus, you'll find a lot of different fundraisers as well. So maybe if you're walking to class one day, people are selling desserts for a certain fundraiser. You can buy a snack on the way to class. There are different organizations will do events here, like little mini concerts, or just fun games and whatnot. So on any given day, there'll usually be something going on here in Centennial Mall for you to enjoy besides the class element. And also I want to talk about the different organizations as well. So we have over 300 different student clubs and organizations here at WKU. So everything from intramural sports. So intramurals are not sports for the university like Alessia is for cheerleading, but these are just sports for fun, so you could play. There's different clubs that are related to majors. So, there's an art club, there's a business fraternity, there is a chemistry club, so different academic clubs as well. There are different fundraising organizations for different causes that you might be really passionate about. There are some that are just for the fun of it. They're ambassador organizations. So there's a lot of different ways to get involved here at WKU, and I would highly recommend trying out a couple of clubs when you arrive. There'll actually be a student organization fair on campus, so you can kind of go around and talk to different members of clubs and kind of get your feet wet. So we do have a question, I believe it is about safety. So absolutely, I will touch on safety. We at WKU were actually top 4 for safest campus communities in the entire US. So we take safety very, very seriously here at WKU. It is our primary concern. So something I do want to point out, you might be able to see it from here. There is a little tower right there with a blue light on it. That is an emergency tower. So these emergency towers are situated all over campus, and they're done so in a way to, no matter where you are on campus, you should be able to see at least one of them. So if you were to go to that emergency tower and press the big red button on them, that will automatically connect you to the WKU police, who will be here in seconds, literally. So we do have a special police force here at WKU just for campus, aside from the Bowling Green police. So for they're there to help you in your protection. They can, you can call them if you would like to be escorted somewhere. If perhaps you were walking somewhere, away from campus at night. You might not feel safe for some reason. They will escort you. But again, we do take your safety as our number one concern. Should ever something happen, that's what those are there for. But then also safety within our residence halls. So basically, if you live on campus in one of our residence halls, you will be, you'll have your student identification card. And basically, if you live on campus, there will be a certain color sticker on your card that signifies to a front desk worker at your residence hall that you live in that residence hall. So basically, you'll have to flash your student ID to that desk worker every time you enter the residence hall. Otherwise, you will not be permitted in unless you are signed in with one of the people who live in that hall. So not just anyone can get into our residence halls on campus. Again, safety is our number one concern.
With that, with what Bryson just said about having your WKU ID, you're going to want to have that ID with you at all times. So that, like Bryson just said, that ID is what gets you into your dorm. So, and then it also is where you have all your meals. If you do end up having a meal plan, it's how you swipe to get your meals and pay for the food with the meal plan that you have. Everything is on that card. So it's a really good idea to, I had something that I put on the back of my phone, and I just put my card in that because it's just really important to have easy access to that card at all times because you use it multiple times throughout the day.
So we did have a question or a comment, I think it was to me privately, about joining the football team. So there is kind of a process to actually playing a sport for WKU. Number one, you'll have to be registered with the NCAA. So that is kind of the governing body of athletics here in the US. So you'll have to register with them and apply to WKU. But other than that, you'll have to be definitely in contact with the coach of that sport. So Alessia, you'd probably be a lot more knowledgeable with that kind of process than I am. Do you want to kind of touch on that?
Yeah, so with sports in general, so like I was saying earlier, cheerleading isn't necessarily an NCAA sport. Sorry about that. But the sports will kind of do their own recruiting. So the football team for this year has actually already been chosen. And I believe one of the male students we just saw walking around, I noticed him. He was a football player. Some of them are already back practicing. So it's kind of like a thing, my cheerleading team has already been chosen for the year. So they choose it in advance. And like Bryson was saying, you have to go through the whole NCAA and you have to get all of the medical paperwork and all of that kind of stuff figured out. But earlier, Bryson was talking about intramurals, and we have intramural football and flag football and stuff like that. And I would suggest getting involved with that because it's more fun. You can do it around your studies and you can get a group of friends together to do it with you. And it's still playing football and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that's a really great way. But yeah, like Bryson was saying, the NCAA has a lot of specific rules for things, and you take an extra year for it. But yeah, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alessia. Okay, so I'm going to turn around here. This is our basketball arena. I'm not going to show you, all of the sports facilities today. So we definitely have a lot of different sports going on: baseball, softball, soccer, tennis, volleyball, all kinds of different ones. And aside from volleyball, most of them are a little further away, some of them on campus, some of them not. But basketball is also very big with WKU culture. I would say football is kind of the biggest one, but basketball as well. And especially here in kind of the southern United States, basketball is huge, especially in Kentucky. So I do want to show you the basketball arena. We're going to go on in there. And I might lose you all for just a moment, so bear with me.
I'll touch on another thing. So, like Bryson was just saying, and I was saying about the student ID cards, all of our sporting events are free, like Bryson was saying, to all students, but you have to have your student ID card with you. So, you have to be able to show your student ID card and say, hey, I'm a WKU student, to be able to get into the games for free, like Bryson was saying. So, another reason that you're going to need to have that card on you at all times.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm here inside the arena. Can you all still hear me and see me? Am I not frozen? Am I good?
See you. You're good.
Perfect. All right. So this is kind of the outside. You can see here are all of the different teams kind of within our conference. We're Conference USA, again, Division I. But I'm going to keep walking through here and show you kind of the outside before I go into the main part of to WKU. So there are lots of different cases like this one that have different trophies, different games, and just kind of like a little mini museum of WKU itself. And as you go upstairs, there's actually a huge hall that basically is just a history of sports here at WKU. So again, sports are huge here. We're big fans. We take them very seriously. So you can see all kinds of different nods to the history. And as I turn here, we should be able to go in. All right, here we go. So welcome to Diddle Arena. It's very odd being in here as the only person in here because usually, I associate this place with packed crowds. There's people everywhere cheering on WKU, but this is it. You can see very large. And aside from sporting events, there are also several events in here as well. So we often have concerts in here. Graduation will more than likely be in here. So different things like that. And something else I want to talk about, some other events. There are all kinds of events that have nothing to do with sports. I feel like I've talked about sports a lot here in this episode, but there are all kinds of different performances. We have Van Meter Hall up on top of the hill where we have a lot of our theater performances and musical performances. We have guest lecturers come in throughout the semester. So if you are studying chemistry, for example, we might have a guest chemist come in from a different university. So different guests. Some of them are kind of a little bit famous, so that's really cool. So there are all kinds of things happening here on campus aside from your actual classes. And that's really important because obviously, you're coming here for an education, but you're also going to be here a while. We want it to be an enjoyable experience, and we want you to kind of get immersed in that American culture while you're here, because otherwise you probably wouldn't be coming to the US to get your degree. So we want to make that enjoyable. So I'm here in center court. Looks like we haven't taken too long, but we absolutely want to open it up to questions. So if you all have any questions for either me or Alessia, feel free to put those in the chat box.
As the questions are rolling in, I'll just kind of like touch on that. So there is many opportunities for events and stuff like that, like Bryson was saying, that happen on campus that aren't just sports. There's our sporting events that you can watch. There's the Intermurals that you can join in. There is fraternities, sororities, stuff like you can go to. Our like drama club puts on plays all the time. I've been to a few and I really enjoyed them. just things to stay busy. And I really would suggest going and getting to know other people and going to these events because, like Bryson said, we are there for school, but you want to make it fun, you want to make it feel like home, and you want to make those friends. And going out there and getting involved is a great thing and a great way to meet new people and get to know your.
Absolutely. So I had a question to me privately about leadership programs. So we do have several of those. We actually have organizational leadership as a master's degree. But as far as leadership programs here, as campus events goes, we do have those in our clubs and organizations. So we have different ambassador programs here at WKU, and one of them is the International Student Diplomats, which Alessia is an diplomat for us. So basically they help international students come to WKU. They answer questions, they will WhatsApp you, they can Skype with you, video chat. There'll also be some of kind of the leaders who show you around during a student orientation when you come to campus. So that's an opportunity. There's different ambassador programs for pretty much every field of study here at WKU. So for example, I was a member of the Potter College Ambassadors because I studied English and journalism here at WKU. So I was under the Potter College. So you can do ambassadors with that. There are Spirit Masters, which is our overall kind of overarching ambassador program for WKU. So there's actually a lot of different leadership programs, which is really great because it really allows you to hone your leadership skills. You can put that on your resume when you're applying for things. So those are definitely important. I have a question. At this time, do you promise us that we can come there? So I'm assuming that's talking about COVID restrictions. So at this moment, we currently just released our Big Red reopening plan. And so basically, for most of the spring semester that we just came out of, we were completely online. All classes were online. The students weren't on campus. That is the case right now with summer as well. For the fall, we are planning on being face-to-face here on campus. That is the goal. We're kind of revising that plan at the moment. But we realize that for some international students, it might be a little more difficult to actually get here on campus. For example, there might still be travel restrictions in your home countries. There might be troubles getting a visa because your embassies have been closed thanks to COVID restrictions. So we realize even though that we will be here on campus, it might be a little more difficult for international students to make it here. So we are developing several plans to kind of combat that. We are kind of developing our Pathways program to where you can do a semester of it online. So basically you can still start in the fall if you're not able to get here and just do your first semester taking online classes and then come here in the spring. And that is kind of the biggest option we're working on right now. So we can't, 100% promise you that you will be here, but we are trying very, very hard to make that happen. And we hope that you can get your visa as well. How is WKU different from other universities in the US? I got that one privately as well. So my favorite thing about WKU is its international flair. So there's such a highlight of international learning here at WKU, and that's actually one of our key components in our strategic plan. So we basically have, it's kind of like a code of conduct or a constitution of the university, and that's one of the priorities of WKU is making sure that it's an international place. So we have students from all over the world. I think we have about 65 different nationalities represented currently. So we also value study abroad. So you students would be coming here for your degree. We have American students who go every semester or short term to different universities around the world as well, so they can get that international experience that you're getting. So we do value that international element, and that's probably my favorite part. But then also we're different, I think, because of the personal touch that we have. So WKU is a pretty good size university. It's about 20,000 students, which is considered medium size in the US, believe it or not. I know that sounds like a lot, but even though we are a pretty large school, we have a very small school feel. So our average class size is about 24 students, which is actually quite small for a university our size. So for some universities in the US, you might go and you might be in a classroom with 200, 300 people for most of your classes. But here at WKU, you'll be in a smaller one. You'll be able to raise your hand. Your professor will know your name. You'll be able to ask questions, and it's a lot more personalized, which I appreciate as well. Anything else you want to add, Alessia, about maybe how we're different?
Sorry, 1 second. Sorry, I'm just at home and my house phone's going off, so let me go somewhere. Can you all still hear me?
Yes.
So pretty much kind of like just like what Bryson said, everything is just kind of big school, small feeling. Like I was saying earlier, my favorite thing about WKU is the family atmosphere. I got to know so many people within my first year, not just from cheerleading, but in the international office, other international students, people that I would go study with, just seeing people in the Downing Student Union, DSU, what Bryson showed us earlier. It's just, it really feels like home, and you get to know so many people that make it and help you make it feel like home. It's just, I don't know, it's hard to explain unless you feel it, and when you guys get on the hill, you will 100% feel it and feel like home. I think that's what I hear the most, is what people say, WKU, it may be a big school and a big Division I school for sports, but everyone there really makes it so welcoming and just feel like home.
Love that. And something I've mentioned a couple times and Alessia has mentioned too, we keep talking about the hill. So WKU's campus is actually built on a giant hill. We're known as the Hill Toppers. So if you come and you're a student at WKU, you will also be a hill topper too. So yeah, the campus itself is often referred to as the hill. So that's what we're talking about when we mention that. Looks like I have another question privately. Research programs and facilities. Are there any special programs for math student? So there are so many different research opportunities here at WKU. All of our professors are continuing to conduct research. If you come here for a master's degree, you'll be expected to work with the professors in your department very closely to do your own research, to work on your thesis. There are different opportunities for that. And then you ask about math programs. There certainly are for the math department. And if you want specific information about a certain program or those research opportunities within that program, feel free to email us. So I'll give you our email, and actually, if we can put that in the chat box, it's iem@wku.edu. So you can absolutely email about specific programs if you would like. Any other questions?
I just want to kind of add on to what Bryson said. So if you're ever struggling in any class, there's many tutors at WKU that are free to charge. If you make an appointment with them, there are students just like us, or students that are within your major that can help you with specific classes. So it's a great way to many different tutors. There's no shame in it. We all need help at one point, and it's a good way to meet other people in your classes. There's study groups, all that kind of stuff. And it just really helps you. It can really help, because going into college, either if it's your first time or you're going into a harder program. Sorry, my dog.
But yes, there's all kinds of different opportunities for tutors. Like Elizabeth was saying, I used a couple of tutoring services when I was a student here, for sure. Yes, so are there any other questions before we let you all go? We don't want to take up too much of your time, but we want to make sure we answer your questions. No questions? Sorry, I look a little sweaty. It's a little warm outside today. No questions at all. All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining. Alessia, thank you for joining as well and sharing some of your experiences here as a student diplomat. I love the dog barking. That's hilarious.
There he is. He's on the couch. But yeah, like Bryson said, thanks for coming. If you guys have any questions, I think you can find my email on the international.
Yes, so on our website, it's wku.edu/international.
Yep, and they can send
all right, well, again.
Yeah, okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.